How is everyone doing today? And in this video, I want to talk about a certain type of team and also a certain type of units that are getting massively buffed in version 1.1, especially with the inclusion of Jane Doe and Seth, also including some of the changes that Zenless 1.0 made as well to some of the damage types. Yeah, Anomaly is going to be super strong coming into the game and most likely going to compete against a lot of these main DPS teams, especially with Jane Doe coming very soon, with Seth coming as well alongside her banner. And not only that, also having Bernice on the way, who's also going to be an Anomaly unit for the fire element. So there's a lot of really cool stuff that we're looking forward to when it comes to fleshing out the meta in regards to the different types of teams that we can create in the game. Now we're going to be looking at, of course, a lot of the characters that are going to get some big buffs from coming into this Anomaly meta that we're looking at. When it comes to the characters that are going to absolutely love that we're getting Anomaly proficiency for free, that we're getting Anomaly mastery from different sources. A lot of really good stuff that's coming into the game right now. And the main characters that of course are going to love this, of course, because they haven't seen a lot of play in regards to some of the best teams in the game at the moment. Grace is definitely a character who is going to 100% love Seth and Jane Doe's inclusion, because it's going to allow them to basically have a full team that allows you to proc all their passives. Because for Grace, all you need is a character that does lightning damage for her team passive, and guess what? Seth is lightning. Same thing goes for Jane Doe. She already has both of her conditions filled out, with Seth being the same faction and also Anomaly units being able to be used with Jane. And that opens up another thing that is going to be very important for us looking down the line, is that Jane Doe works with other Anomaly characters. So the way they want to push that certain type of team is going to be Anomaly support Anomaly, or Anomaly stunner, or however which way you're going to be using that team. Most likely for Jane Doe's case, you're probably going to use Seth, Jane Doe, and whatever Anomaly character you want to use, whether it's going to be something like Grace to be able to pair up with Seth, or maybe even the same element with Piper, because right now we don't have Bernice, but when she comes out, it's most likely going to be a better team to rock Bernice or having Grace on the team rather than the same element. And to show off something really quickly, because this is a very important thing to look at when it comes to looking at how strong Disorder is going to be very soon when it comes to the Anomaly team, we're going to go ahead and bring in someone like Grace, Nicole, and then Piper. These are our only Anomaly characters out at the moment when it comes to looking at everything in regards to disorders and anomalies. So the one thing that Zenless did end up changing when it came to looking at how Anomaly works is that, let me go ahead and set these settings up. I'm trying to scale it to the level my characters are currently at. I have to disable all of this, and we're gonna go ahead and show off what changes they made, which is actually a pretty big deal, because this helps not only Anomaly out, but this also helps, I did not mean to hit him with the full assault, this helps not only Anomaly out, but this helps out majority general teams in the game at the current moment. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the shock off on the enemy. I am going to take off the stun, and we're gonna hit once with Piper, and you're gonna see that we jump up to 31 days with one basic attack. That is a pretty big thing. And the thing that they changed, if you still didn't understand it, is that now anomalies or disorders specifically can now add days onto the enemy. Now, of course, this is going to fluctuate depending on which type of enemies you are fighting. When it comes to fighting a normal enemy, when it comes to fighting an elite, and when it comes to fighting a boss, it is going to vary. But there are going to be a bunch of different applications to this, because not only are anomaly teams getting hugely buffed by this, making it so that you don't necessarily need a stunner, but also certain teams that we've been running already, which is something like, let's say, Zhu Yin's best team, which is Zhu Yin, Qingyi, and Nicole. Because what way are you getting these lightning reactions off with Qingyi? You're also going to be popping corruption quite a bit with Nicole and Zhu Yin. So this is something that is also pretty big for them as well, that you're going to absolutely love to be able to take advantage of when it comes to proccing disorders and make it higher of importance when it comes to using the reactions and making sure that those disorders are going to proc. So for the most part, it's the same deal when it comes to these characters specifically. I don't want to put one random character, trying to put a little bit more of a beefier one so they don't die immediately. But realistically, when looking at how these characters function, you're gonna usually have a crap ton of ether damage coming out, allowing you to build up that anomaly very quickly. When that ends up being the case, you're also going to be using Qingyi as well, who is also going to be massively raising the lightning anomaly buildup. when she's doing her job, which is something we've already seen for the most part in terms of her being able to take care of a bunch of units all at the same time and her being able to deal with stunning as well. Of course, when you go ahead and proc your anomaly with lightning, you're gonna get shock onto the enemy, and then after that, Juyin does her job, and then you get that disorder off plus that extra daze, which makes it even better because not only does that enemy get a little bit closer to getting into that stun meter, which someone like Juyin really likes because she gets that damage multiplier off of it, but you're able to go ahead and speedrun that process of stopping the enemy from doing anything that they actually want to do, so that you're able to go back into the damage dealing phase of every single character that you're probably using in the DPS form. Again, I do think with the inclusion of Seth and Jane Doe, there's a lot of characters that are getting indirectly buffed by them coming into the game. Nekomata is definitely one of these characters that I do want to point out for sure, because with Nekomata, you actually are going to be able to proc her best relic set, which is going to be the physical set, which I can show off with one of these guys. The physical set, if I have a spare one so I can show it off, is going to be the set that allows you to get extra damage whenever an assault is procced by any squad member. So if you have someone like Jane Doe and someone like Nekomata on the same team, then that means you're absolutely going to get that 35% damage bonus super easily, allowing someone like Nekomata to be able to take advantage of that. And same with Jane Doe as well, if we use this relic set on her, which I do need to test out whenever we get the chance to showcase her. But like I said, Anomaly being buffed all around, with Seth coming into the game with his shield, which helps out with not only Anomaly build up, but also helping out with the Anomaly proficiency. That Anomaly build up bonus is going to be really great for us, especially when it comes to pairing them up with either Jane Doe, someone like Qingyi, or even someone like Seth, or any other lightning character that is going to be paired up with Seth. You're able to get those reactions off so much more faster, and with that being said, allows you to get those disorders off way easier. And not only that, that's going to give you that extra days that's going to be coming from the disorders themselves. Nekomata, as I said before, Jane Doe is going to be able to help her out. Grace is going to be able to love having Seth on the team because of that Anomaly proficiency, because of the Anomaly build-up drop that Seth has in his core passive. There's a lot of really great things coming into the game right now, which is pushing Anomaly further into the same realm of power, which not yet. I think we still do need a couple of more supports, a couple of more units to come out into the game for us to see someone that is to the degree of Juyin and Ellen. From my showcase that I showed off earlier with talking about Jane Doe and how she works, I do want to say that although Jane Doe is going to be pretty strong as a character, we do have to wait till we're able to showcase her off with actual relics, with actual disc drives, with having her talents leveled up. Is she as strong as someone like Ellen and Juyin? Now, the one thing I can say about these two characters versus Jane Doe is I do think Jane Doe is definitely going to be someone that is a lot more universal than these two, because as we may know, when it comes to their team passive, when it comes to the characters that they like the most, they're a little bit more restricted. Juyin really likes characters that are able to help her out with their burst playstyle, and someone like Qingyi is definitely the character that is going to be filling out that role. Same thing goes for someone like Ellen. You really want characters that are going to help you with that ice damage boost, someone like Lycan, and then someone like Sokaku, or even Rina from the same faction for Ellen. When it comes to having someone like Jane into the game, Jane's team passive is going to be Anomaly or having the same faction. So not only is she going to be able to be placed in a majority of a lot of the teams in the game, she's also able to give that disorder, she's able to give that assault, which is one of the strongest reactions in the game in my personal opinion, just because of the absolute nukes that you're able to drop. And not only that, she's able to make them crit as well, which is absolutely absurd, especially when we start taking into account all the defense drops, all of the res pen, everything that you can provide to that reaction. Yeah, these are going to hit super hard when Jane comes out into the game. So definitely, I do think that there's some point of contention when it comes to Ellen and Juyin having to fight against Jane Doe. I do think Jane Doe has a chance, but we definitely have to wait and see for when we're able to showcase them out. I do think overall, being able to have Seth in the game, being able to have Jane Doe come into the game is really going to push us into learning about Anomaly a lot more, and also paying attention to disorders, and also with the change that Zenless Zone Zero gave us with allowing us to get more days onto the disorders that get proc is a really good touch, because not only does this buff up existing Anomaly characters, this also buffs up indirectly other characters like Nekomata. It helps out characters like Juyin, who are really Anomaly intensive with the characters that they really like. It's a really good thing overall, and a really strong foundation that we're building right now when it comes to having main DPSs like Ellen, who are more situated and wanting to be on the field all the time. Someone like Zhuyin, who doesn't want to be on the field the whole time but does absolutely massive damage when it's their turn. And then we're gonna have Jane Doe, who's gonna be our Anomaly character. So it's a lot of really cool stuff. They're building out the defense role, they're building out the Anomaly role, they're making really great changes to the combat in the game. So other than that, that's pretty much it when it comes to this video on why Anomaly is doing pretty well right now. They're going to be super strong. I do think with all the changes included, we're going to see some really cool character kits, and we're going to see some really cool teams coming up and popping up in the future. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching all to the video. See y'all guys in the next one, and peace.